All right, next question up is about rest periods. This one says, you don't seem to talk much about rest periods in the FAQ. I'm wondering how much rest between sets is reasonable. I take 3 to 5 minutes on work sets, so a typical squat set is going to be like rack the weight, unwrap, take off my belt, add, remove weight for your next set, set a rest timer for 3 minutes, and then relax for 3 minutes. Then you get belted up, and then do your next set. So I'm calling a work set anything that's 7 RPE or higher. Is that an acceptable ballpark? I don't want to overthink it, but it obviously affects RPE quite a bit. This keeps me in the gym for about 2 hours, but that includes 20 minutes of rolling and stretching. That's actually pretty good. So you're really looking at, 5 to 7 minutes between sets, depending on how fast you're doing those things. So for your normal workflow, that's fine. On the RTS Instagram and things like that, I posted a graphic not too long ago that talks about auto-regulating your rest periods based on the RPE of the previous set. So just to give you something to keep in mind, if your RPE, if you do a work set and your RPE is a 5, then you're going to rest for probably about a minute, and then you'll belt up and take your next one. So I'm not including weight changes in this. I'm talking about this is enough time to take your belt off, and then you start the timer, and then when the timer expires, you belt up again and go. So if you're looking at RPE 5, then you're going to rest for about a minute. RPE 6 is going to be about 2 minutes. RPE 7 is going to be about 3 minutes. 8 is 4 minutes, 9 is 5 minutes, and 10 is as needed. So this is just a rough guideline. So for squats and deadlifts, you may need to rest a little longer. For bench, you may need to rest a little bit shorter, and it depends on how good a shape you're in and yada, yada, yada. The idea, though, is that you get a pretty sufficient amount of recovery. I hesitate to say complete recovery because some people take that a bit too far. But you should get fairly well recovered during this rest time. So, I found that chart is handy for keeping people from resting too long, except, of course, when it's needed. The reps that you're doing affects that as well. If you do a set of 20, even if it's a 6 RPE, you may not be ready to go in 2 minutes. So the reps matter a bit. But in general, I find that RPE is the biggest driver for most of your normal powerlifting training. So hopefully that gives you some ideas on where to go. It sounds like you're doing it pretty good as it is, especially for a more normal, a more typical powerlifting program where the RPEs on your work sets are fairly high, 7 and above. We do have some programs where there's a lot of percentage work that tries to drive a high volume of work at lower RPEs, where you spend a lot of time at 7 RPE and below. For those programs, a 3-minute rest break, 5-minute rest break is going to be much too long, and you'll spend way too long in the gym. But overall, it's sounding like you're getting things about where they need to be, and so, I would keep rolling with what you got, man.